I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today, we are going to discuss the 8 years of Modi government and how Mr. Maulana Mahmood Madni Good of Jamaat-e Ulama Hind criticized in own way the Modi government in the name of protect his Muslim community. How and why this is for his self-interest, vested interest, or for the society. It was real or his drama. We'll analyze. So first, the 8 years of achievements of Modi government. All ministers in the BJP-led central and state government and elected representatives will take part in massive public outreach campaign to mark the 8th anniversary of the Modi government, focusing on its priorities of the welfare of the poor and good governance. And according to party, the National General Secretary Arun Singh said, a reliable, popular, decisive, sacrificing and strategic leader, well, as he hailed the Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a reliable, popular, decisive, sacrificing and strategic leader, and said the entire nation is standing with him. Uh, the BJP General Secretary Arun Singh said the BJP will be celebrating the Modi government 8th anniversary for a fortnight starting from May 30. From May 30 to June 14, the party will organize public outreach on the theme of service, good governance, poor welfare, fortnight across the country. So they have been the priority of the Prime Minister Modi-led government, according to Singh. As a part of the campaign, 75-hour public outreach program will be organized from booth to the national level, in which all union ministers in the BJP-led state government and elected representatives will take part in the visit the villages. Sharing details of campaign, Mr. Arun Singh said, as they each had been dedicated to reaching out to farmers, women, SCs, STs, OBCs, and minorities. On May 30, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hand over the checks for the children orphaned during the COVID-19 pandemic and will also announce a scholarship of them. And to a query on activities reaching out to minorities, Mr. Singh said the Modi government works on the principle of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas or Sabka Vishwas, with all, development for all, and everyone trust. And therefore, the welfare scheme does not differentiate among the people. And this is facts also. But as well as if you see the on the economic front, the how the BJP has worked. So this economic growth mixed bag, job market, inflation worry. They're trying to be the better now. According to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, India's goal to be 5 trillion economy has been the main talk point in the last 8 years of the India government. From time to coming into power, the Prime Minister has stressed on his government goals of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's growth for all. After that, they added Sabka Vishwas. After they added Sabka Prayas. All efforts. The economic growth has been mixed in the last 8 years. It was hurt further because of unprecedented pandemic and then a war in Europe. Economics experts have indicated that even before the pandemic, demonetization, implementation of GST, bad loan problem started impacting India's economic growth. Now with the Russia-Ukraine war creating ripples on the India shores as well as throughout the world, major challenges to the sustained growth and create a trillion-dollar economy remain. Meanwhile, just you look the current growth government has performed in terms of GDP growth, consumer inflation, jobless from 2014 till now. If you see the India's real gross domestic product and the report card of how India's overall economy was performed in the last 8 years has been a mixed bag. The India economy on average was headed towards an upward trajectory from 2014 to 16. However, GDP growth slipped in the next 2 years. Data indicated growth rate slowed due to slow growth in India's agriculture and manufacturing. There was a further slip in GDP rate, 3.7% in 2019 due to crisis in NBFC sector, introduction of GST and demonetization. In 2020, with COVID-19 pandemic hitting every economy, India saw its GDP growth in negative territory for the first time in over 4 decades, With the country coming back to shape after the 2 years of the turbulence, India's economy seems to be rebounding. Estimated GDP growth in 2021 is stood at 8.9%, and going ahead, it is expected to be 8.2% in 2022, according to the International Monetary Fund. Like the economies, the Omicron wave and now Russia and Ukraine war has dented economic growth globally and not for the India and Bharat. However, India is expected to better off than the emerging economies according to estimates from IMF and World Bank. Talking the inflation rate, for the consumer inflation, Reserve Bank of India has lowered tolerance of limits of 2% and the upper tolerance limit is 6% for inflation. CPI inflation averaged 5.8% in 2014. The year with the Narendra Modi government assumed power, it remained with the RBI's upper tolerance limit from 2014 to 19, benefiting the low crude oil prices. However, it reached their 60% 6% mark in 2020 after the unprecedented global pandemic. Average consumer inflation was 6.2% in 2020. It was mainly driven by rise in food prices along with the high fuel and commodity prices following the lockdowns imposed after the pandemic struck. And in 2021 they softened at 5.5%, but this year it is expected to breach RBI upper threshold once again and peak to 6.1%, mainly because of US Federal Reserve's expected rate hikes and ongoing war in Black Sea region, which was pushed up the prices of energy, food and raw materials all over the world. Going ahead, inflation is expected to be a big worry of government as well as RBI. In the war in Ukraine shows no sign of abatement. Is joblessness. Unemployment rate remained 5.5% in average from the time Modi government entered power till 2017. Joblessness fell marginally to 5.3% in 2018 and 19. However, the pandemic ravaging the livelihood, unemployment spiked to 8% in 2020. That is the first year of pandemic. According to PEW research, the middle class shrank by 35 million, while the number of people who were pushed to poverty was 75 million because of COVID-19 pandemic and recession. And it remained high in 2021, 6%, according to data from the World Bank. According to recent data of the recent Center of Monitoring Indian Economy, CMI, recognized agency, India's labor force participant rate fell to 40% from 47% 2016, showing signs of economic distress. CMI said millions of Indians in the working age, 15 years and older, left the labor market. They stopped even looking for employment, possibly too disappointed. But this is another way. The 70,000 startups has been new formed, and thousands, I think, lakhs of jobs have been created on that startup point. They are not mentioning here, and they stop the. That's why they're not stopping. That they stop the looking the employment. They have generated the employment. This is a different part of the system and different part of the development. There's a part of the achievement of the Modi government, if you can say like that. And so no disappointing on that in creating job in the broad-based youth, women, and sectors and large of, and there are many large startup has been the came in ground of Ukraine. That is a plus point for Modi government. But what is Congress criticized on the social front, economic front, security front, whatever they only criticize, and the politics of hate. How just they have made the promote the Muslims and the politics of love, as Congress already try to blame only and use India for defense force name to garner vote. How the defense ministry is working better than the before government, and there's so transparent system has been made. So only Congress accuse the government. They have right to accuse, but if you see now from the sugar and the wheat, how World Bank is a strike request, stop the export, and many countries on the line to check the wheat from our export. This is we are number one in the dairy technology and the milk production, the number one in the world now. Earlier it was Denmark. So just you and also I say highlight points and some achievements like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, leveraging power of JAM, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, new place to developments and Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, but it is not successful as I have seen it. Alleging India's energy, Namami Gange, powering India's growth, putting the India economy fast track, trying to be empowering farmers for the prosperity. Many schemes for the farmers, direct transfer, money transfer. No corruption and commission has just system has been wiped off. This is a big achievement for the governance, 100% transparency, and for the students has been interacted a lot. PM has just trying to feed the new generation who are the asset for the nation with interact and energize them and exam before exam and after exam and connecting India. This is a and empowering different states equally with the boost to federalism reforms is going on. How the reform transform and just all the slogans of Prime Minister and I can say main eight if you kind of point out the eight big decision. So I can just demodernization. Another one the surgical strike. Third one is a GST. Fourth one the triple talaq. Fifth one the 370 and Ram Mandir Chapel decision. Sixth one CAA. Seventh is a bank. There's a unification of the thing government bank, and eighth is the all whatever the farmers' law is just back to the pavilion, but reforms is going on. So, and just today, Prime Minister was in Rajkot, and I'll just show that video how just he talked about the cooperative movement, how the self-reliance India, and how he is so happy to the many achievements of the Prime Minister's front and the government fronts. Just have a look, just listen that video of Prime Minister.
आत्मनिर्भरता में भारत की अनेक मुश्किलों का हल है और आत्मनिर्भरता का एक बेहतरीन मॉडल सहकार भी है। ये हमने गुजरात में बहुत सफलता के साथ अनुभव किया है और आप सभी साथी इस सफलता के सेनानी हैं। गुजरात के कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर से जुड़े सभी महारथी बैठे हैं। मैं हर किसी का चेहरा बैठे बैठे देख रहा था। सब पुराने साथी जो आज सहकारी क्षेत्र में गुजरात की विकास यात्रा को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं, ऐसे एक से बढ़कर एक दिग्गज मेरे सामने बैठे हैं। आनंद हो रहा है जिस तपस्या से आप इस काम को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं और सहकारी स्पिरिट को लेकर के आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। साथियों, गुजरात तो इसलिए भी सौभाग्यशाली रहा है क्योंकि पूज्य बापू और सरदार साहब का नेतृत्व यहाँ हमें मिला। पूज्य बापू ने सहकार के से स्वावलंबन का जो मार्ग दिखाया, उसको सरदार साहब ने जमीन पर उतारने का काम किया। और जब सहकारी की बात आती है, जैसे अमित भाई ने उल्लेख किया, वेंकुट भाई मेहता की याद आना बहुत स्वाभाविक है। और आज भी भारत सरकार एक बहुत बड़ी इंस्टीट्यूट उनके नाम पर चलाती है, लेकिन वो भी धीरे धीरे भुला दिया गया था। इस बार हमने बजट में 25 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान करके उसको और ताकतवर बनाने का काम शुरू किया। इतना ही नहीं, हमारे यहाँ तो हाउसिंग के लिए सोसाइटी, कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी, इसका पहला प्रयोग हमारे यहाँ हुआ। ये जो हमारे पालड़ी में प्रीतम नगर है, वो प्रीतम नगर उसी का उदाहरण है। देश की पहली सहकारी आवास योजना का वो जीता जागता उदाहरण है। साथियों, सहकारी क्षेत्र में अमूल ने एक अपनी पहचान बना दी। अमूल जैसे ब्रांड ने पूरी दुनिया में गुजरात के कोऑपरेटिव मूवमेंट की एक ताकत का परिचय कराया है, एक पहचान बनाई है। गुजरात में डेयरी, चीनी और बैंकिंग सहकारी आंदोलन के सफलता का उदाहरण है। बीते सालों में तो फल सब्जी सहित दूसरे क्षेत्रों में भी सहकार का दायरा बढ़ा है। भाइयों और बहनों, सहकारिता के सफल प्रयोगों में एक बहुत बड़ा मॉडल देश की ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था को सशक्त करने के लिए हमारे सामने है। डेयरी सेक्टर के कोऑपरेटिव मॉडल का उदाहरण हमारे सामने है। आज भारत दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा दूध उत्पादक है, जिसमें गुजरात की बहुत बड़ी हिस्सेदारी है। बीते सालों में डेयरी सेक्टर तेजी से बढ़ भी रहा है और ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था में ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट भी कर रहा है। आज भारत एक साल में लगभग 8 लाख करोड़ रुपए का दूध उत्पादन करता है।
Just you listen to the wonderful speech of Mr. Narendra Modi at Rajkot today, and he was in tour for the 2 day in Gujarat after completing 8 years of his governance, best governance, as minimum governance and maximum governance. So he was so happy in between with his own people work together in many ways, as he already shared his thoughts in his speech. So, a time of break. After break, I'll come to you with another news of Mr. Maulana Mahmood Madni and others. Welcome after break. Just a speech of Mr. Maulana Mahmood Madni of Jamaat Ulama Hind, and today he has just organized a program and is speaking the 2 day meeting of management committee of his organization. And whatever he said and uttered, literally full of hatred, not for the peace, trying to advocate the peace in a different way, in satirical way. He said that the government has turned blind eye to hardship that Muslims in the country was facing. What type of hardship they are facing? About the Khargon Muslim and harassed. But who started? Maulana Sahab, why playing the victim card? He said the country is going through a phase of turmoil, but those the government have sealed their lips, which is a cause of concern for all. Where government has sealed? Who has just created the Jahangir Puri? Who has created the daily rights 2020? That time no statement has been made from you. Just no advocate of Tahir Hussain. He will not take the 72 hoods from the Allah. When Muslim, yes, he's Muslim facing hardship even when they walk on the street and town. This is the karmas. Remember, who will bear every torture but will not let many December our country. We can compromise on all issue, but not the cost of the country. Now you are playing, you are so nationalist. But religion is first for you. Shame on you. If you think like that, you should act like that. You should show with your on all work. He added the no one can understand the hardship being faced by the Muslim community in the present times. हम जुल्म सह लेंगे, लेकिन इसको हमारी कमजोरी ना समझे. What does it mean? Why you just speaking like that? We're ready to face any kind of hardship, but doesn't mean that we are weak. Who has said you are weak and strong? We are Jamaat torchbearer of the peace and want to foster brotherhood. But that's why ready for the face any eventually. But who was threatening you? Who was just torturing you? Tell the name. You all the people After the Gyan Vapi just brushed like that, you're talking, your brother is talking of the Babri Masjid. Whatever statement you have made in a Hindi, जुल्म सह सकते हैं मुसलमान. अरे who is just making the torture? मुसलमानों को आंख नहीं आने देंगे, आग को आग नहीं बुझा सकते, आग को प्रेम. Who is stopping to spread the love? Go and spread the love. Why are you talking the Islamophobia? You organize 14 March. What try to mean? According to me, I think Maulana Sahab, please behave the matured, behave the real nationalist, not the pseudo. Okay? You like people only just advocate for the constitution of India and Bharat, but only the rights, not for the duties. You should also perform the duties. You don't just try to threaten the other community or Hindu community and or all many minority community, not only Muslim. Okay, with the politics of the last Congress government, Jain also come in the minority community, but now the two Jains advocates fighting for the Gyan Vapi premises in Kashi, Varanasi. Shame on you. Why don't the one Muslim advocates came and just advocate this was a sibling? Where is the mandir has been just overlapped by the masjid? We'll give all the masjid, all the mandirs, whoever overlapped of the masjid, who are originally made, we have no problem. More than 44,000 temples have been destroyed, overlapping the masjids. You're not speaking like that. Why not? Qutub Minar was made by the Qutbuddin Nebak. Why are you telling lies? And Taj Mahal is made by the Mr. Shahjahan and cut the hands of the 20,000 laborers. Shame on you. You're trying to mislead the country. So I'll just very good statement. Mr. Mohsin Raja, the foreign minister UP government, you are playing the card for the own interest, for your vested interest. You are the liar. You should not tell the lie. You are just trying to mobilize the foolish and the not illiterate Muslims. You will not play the emotion of the literate Muslim. Now, literate Muslim is very sensitive now. They are nationalists, real nationalists. They are working in the government and other sides. Don't play the Muslim card, and after that, play the victim card. First, your community, whatever you're trying to lead, make the nuisance, make the riots, make the violence, and then whatever is Jodhpur, who started first? What is Jahangir Puri? Listen, yeah, I'm telling you, more than 300 the riots in the Congress regime. So now time has gone, and I just support the Mohsin Raja and other also. As your just shops are closed now, no any your I think privilege will be given, whatever given by the earlier Congress government. And if you are a really nationalist, just do something for the country. Be honest. Issue a fatwa, whatever, just to go and make a survey of the all those masjid claimed by the Hindus, and then hand over them, either Qutub Minar and Taj Mahal and either Mathura and all. Why you just taking the stand on that? Yeah, as you know, if you are a learned person, Maulana Mahmud Madni Sahab, your religion, this is a simple fact, is a 13,1368, 1,368 years old. Paigambar Sahib was not like you, how you're trying to spread hatred. Those who are not Muslim, they are kafirs. What nonsense. And our religion, Sanatan Hindu religion, is more than 15,000 years old. Some records say 80,000 years old. So your religion is not that religion. There are all the, I think, links directly from the old Sanatan Hindu religion. According to Mr. Dr. Mohan Rao Bhagwat, RSS chief, all the Muslims living in Bharat are the same DNA. You are not the original Muslim. So don't try to make and thus instigate the other Muslim community with your fake statement. Time has come just to reinvent yourself, reorganize yourself, reanalyze yourself, and then speak. no fatwa will work in now India now. And I think most sensitive Muslims and literate Muslims are now understood what is Mr. Narendra Modi, what is BJP. You like person try to uh, instigate the all, but no one will tolerate now. Please always be Jai Hind and Jai Bharat, say, and Jai Hindustan. Whatever masjid are there on. I think you will also talk about the encroached masjid in the Lutyens Jones, how the park has been turned over the masjid, Sonari Bagh Lane. Have you made any statement? Kasturba Gandhi Marg, Janpat, all the Sarkari properties were just captured, encroached by the masjid. Why don't you issue a fatwa? Where masjid that you go and just destroy the masjid? No, this is a government property. No, and Madhaswin Road in Delhi, I'm talking about 10 masjid has been just always structured in the main government properties, public properties, where your religion not allows. So be analytical, be I think rational, and be the judicious about yourself and about your statement. So uh, I think you should understand time is not like that. What you're trying to convey, people are more sensitive, Muslim youth are more sensitive than you. Don't try to mislead other country, and your community will not excuse you in coming days. And today's day of the Veer Savarkar, we just Jayanti, Veer Savarkar Jayanti today, and we pray the Veer Savarkar is a very big leader, and how today on the film made by the Veer Savarkar, so who are just trying to protest about Veer Savarkar film, they should understand Veer Savarkar is a hero. If you talk about the Veer Savarkar is if you quote Atalji with just praying the Veer Savarkar and just saluting him. Savarkar mane tej, Savarkar mane tyag, Savarkar mane tap, Savarkar mane tattva, Savarkar mane tark, Savarkar mane tarunya, Savarkar mane teen, Savarkar mane talwar. The former Prime Minister and the great leader of the country, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, said about Savarkar. So really, whatever the concocted and what the latest story, the vast government and the system that is now exposed now. So we salute Savarkar today, the birthday. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.